Alright guys, we are back for more of my 1000 subscriber special. We just played some Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for the Nintendo Wii, and that was a whole lot of fun. So, for our next segment, we are going to be playing Sonic Riders Zero Gravity for the Nintendo Wii. So let's see how well we do on this game.
See ya.
Alright, let's go ahead and choose my file. Let's head into the game start. Alright, we're gonna go normal race. Let's do some free races. Alright, so we're gonna start things off at the Megalo Station. Of course, play a Sonic, and we use some different extreme gears in each race for the segment as well. So, anyways, we're gonna start things off by using the blue star. Alright, let's do it.
Alright, bring it on!
Not too bad on start.
See ya!
Got an X-ray trick already, and we got the max speed up. Oh, special move already! This early in the race, nice. How you like me now, punks? Alright, let's bring out the gravity dive now. Alright, there's 20 rings. Unfortunately, I ran out of GP right there, so it's going to be a little bit tougher for me to get through that turn right there regularly. Alright, but at least we do have the grind now, and we just got another X-ray trick. Alright, lap 2. Alright, I'll take another 20 rings there. Now let's go grinding on the rail. Another 20 rings. I was so close to hitting one part of that train right there, but it's alright. Alright. Right on this rail now. Alright, now we have the GP gauge up, and it's time to go into the final lap. Oh boy, now we get the low speed. That could not be good. But good thing that I went away at a good time right there, so I can still use this gravity dive. I just had bad luck trying to hit the trains every single time right here at the on that portion of the track in each lap. But let's see if we can still possibly hold on to the lead right here throughout the rest of this race. Looks like we will! We're going to start things off with a win in first place. That is amazing. Alright, let's see what happens now in the next race, shall we? Alright, on to Nightside Rush. And we're gonna use the fastest for this one.
Alright, bring it on!
Alright, see how we do here. Another pretty good start. And there's an X-Strike trick. Alright, let's bring out the gravity dive here. Alright, at least we actually hit something with it this time. Unlike all those times I didn't do in the first race. There's 10 rings. I got the grind, and now we're on the lap 2. I did see that one of my opponents just went through that bike path right there, so we can basically go through that as a little shortcut. Another good gravity dive there. Let's go hop on the rail over here this time. Ah, darn it! I just went right into the back of that car. Alright, let's go into the final lap. Alright, there's 10 rings. Now we'll go hop on this rail over here. Yeah, baby! Got that X-Strike trick. And we got a max speed up as well. 20 rings. I have 20 rings right there. Silver got first place this time, but that's okay. I'll still glad we take second. Let's continue on to the next race. So now we're going to move on to the Botanical Kingdom, and let's use the Windstar this time.
Bring it on!
Starting right next to my two good pals, Tails and Knuckles in this race. That's very cool. Alright. Let's see what we do here.
See ya!
I got the air ride. there's 10 rings. Alright, time to bring out the gravity dive here. Alright, let's go see what happens now in lap 2. I got a max speed up. Oh boy, now we end up with the parts lock. So I can't use my gravity control right here while that's going on. But we still got through that turn just fine right here, so we're good. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and fly through these rings.
See ya.
Alright, I'll take a magnetic barrier.
Ready? Go.
I'm on to the final lap. I do see that we have a very good lead right now, so we can keep it up. Oh, are you kidding me? We get the low speed right there. And I can't use my gravity control again in this turn right here. That says we unfortunately got that right there from the item. But even though it's a shame that we got the low speed just a moment ago, at least it did help us get through that turn just fine right there without having to use it. Alright, there's the yacht. Alright, there's the X-ray trick, and let's speed our way to the finish line with this gravity dive. And we're gonna get the win right there in first place! That's what I'm talking about. Alright, now that race is done, let's move on to the next one. Alright, let's move on to the Snowy Kingdom next. And let's use the World Star this time.
All right, bring it on.
Alright, let's go. Another good start.
See ya.
Ah, dang it, I missed the item. Oh well. Alright, looks like we get a starting speed up here. Alright, let's bring out this gravity dive right here and hit some snow, man. Alright, lap 2. Okay, we got a bomb now. I got a bite now.
Ready?
Alright, let's head into the final lap. We got a lot of catching up to do right here throughout the remainder of this race, since I'm very far behind the lead. But usually on this track, I don't really expect myself to do very good on it, because this is one of the more tougher tracks for me to win at. Alright, now we get a magnetic barrier. And we got ourselves a wheel! And we also do get a special move right there, that's awesome. Alright, let's spread out this gravity dive right here as we make our way to the finish line. We ended up in 5th place right there, but it's not all that horrible for where we ended up at. At least we were able to catch up with the pack a little bit, but just wasn't good enough for us either way to try to win it. Alright, let's see what the next race has to offer. Alright, so now it's time to go to Mediatek Premises, and let's go ahead and let's use the legend for this one.
Alright, bring it on.
Alright, here we go. That's a pretty nice start. I do get an X-ray trick here. Oh, got a special move! So we can go ahead and bounce on these springs over here for a shortcut. I have time to use a gravity dive right here. I just barely had enough GP right there to get through that turn just fine. Alright, lap 2. Oh, another X-ray trick over there. Sweet. And we get a trick break +1. So now we can have an easier chance to try to get a better trick break, depending on where we do jump at near the ramps. I've got another X-ray trick there. I'm magnetic barrier. Another trick break +1. Awesome. time to see what happens on the final lap. And there's another extra trick once again. And another extra trick right there as well. Alright, 10 rings. Lopez is catching up to me for that lead. And we do get another extra trick. Another extra trick there as well. Alright, can we possibly hold on for the win right here in first place? Yes, we will! Now that is how it's done. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to Miotech Sparkworks now. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to use now? I guess we'll use the Big Bang.
Alright, bring it on.
Alright, here we go. And if you guys don't know, this is basically one of the extreme gears that they do have in this game, where it doesn't have any gear changes. Alright, we do have a special move activated right here, and with the help of this extreme gear that we're using, once we basically reach full GP, that's when a special move gets activated. Alright, let's spray out a gravity dive here now. Very good. Now let's move on to lap 2. Ah, damn, I just missed that item. Oh well, that's okay. Let's go through here again. Alright, there's 20 rings. Alright, let's grab that gravity dive here again. Alright, let's go into the final lap. I just missed the item there again. What the heck? What? How'd that robot just hit me there right before I was about to make the landing? Oh, that sucks. looks like we're gonna get 10 rings there. But our ring counter is full right here, so it doesn't really matter if we do get any additional rings here or not. Alright, let's make our way to the finish line here with this gravity dive. Ah, shoot, we ran out of GP right there. But thank God I didn't fall off the track right there, otherwise that would have been very embarrassing. And that's another win right there in first place! How about that? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next race. And it's time to go to the Quad Capital now. And this time, I'm going to use the light board.
Alright, bring it on!
Alright, let's do it.
See ya!
And we do get an X-ray trick there. Gotta love going down the water slide on this track right here. It's always so fun. Alright, that was a very good gravity dive there that we just used. And we now have the grind. Alright, let's go to lap 2. I've got 20 rings there.
Ready? Go!
Ah, crap. I couldn't quite get on that rail in time there. Oh well. But at least we do have a GP gauge up here now. Alright, fall out. I have 50 GP right there from the box. Oh, how did I miss that item right there? Come on. Let's try to actually get on that rail this time. Okay, there we go. And looks like Dr. Eggman came in first place right there. And we ended up in third. That's still a pretty good finish there for us. Okay, so anyways, we're all done with that race now. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so we're going to move on to Tempest Waterway. And I think this time I'm going to use The bingo star.
All right, bring it on.
Alright, let's do it. I X-ray truck already, and we also can go ahead and fly through these rings. I got a ring cap up. There's the 100 rings, and we can get another ring cap up. On the lap number 2. I was trying to jump on that ramp right there, but